In 1923, an 11-year-old Romanian girl by the name of Eleonore Zugan became a sensational case of a real-life child medium who was the center of poltergeist activity. She was the child of two peasants, and upon moving in with her grandparents, strange phenomena ensued. It first started with little actions such as the movement of small objects around her, as well as the manifestation of bite marks on her arms and face. When she first arrived at her new home, entire stones came pelting at the cottage's windows, smashing them instantly. Not only were the presence of these stones occurring from outside the house, they also made their way in. In broad daylight, two large stones were then suddenly thrown, landing near Eleanor. What were initially random stones soon progressed to being entire house items. Iron rings and mugs were now being nearly hauled at the child. The grandparents instantly believed that she was possessed by the devil or bewitched, and confirmed this with a local priest who entered the house to mark the stones with a cross and threw it back into the river that was near the cottage. Shockingly, that very same stone entered the house again. This was enough proof for the grandparents, and they immediately sent her back to her parents. These mysterious occurrences, however, were following Eleanor everywhere she went and escalating into something more violent than ever before. So much so, when she arrived back home, her own parents were scared of her and made her stay with the neighbors, who also wanted nothing to do with her. The entire village soon became frightened of this little girl and believed that she was not only bringing trouble, but also the devil. Collectively, they all went against her and threatened to throw her into an asylum. I don't know about you guys, but aside from the demonic shenanigans going on here, I can only imagine the seed of personality disorders planting on this kid from all these folks not only shunning her, but also abandoning her. Like, wow. All but one person ran away from her. His name was Fritz Grunwald, and he was a physical researcher based in Berlin. He was initially intrigued by the unexplained phenomena, but stayed because of the controversy surrounding the entire case. Newspapers and locals started to vocalize their doubts, claiming that it was all a charade or that Eleanor herself was insane, whilst other papers expressed that this was indeed real. Grunwald was given permission by Eleanor's parents to conduct studies on her, and for 3 weeks he did just that. He had confirmed that yes, the paranormal accounts were true, and when he was planning to send Eleanor back home, he just dropped dead out of nowhere, lying flat on his face in his own hall. This tragedy only heightened the public's fascination with Eleanor, and soon enough, Austrian physicists claimed her under the guise that they wanted to save her. In other words, they really just wanted to conduct more experiments and research. An investigator by the name of Harry Price brought Eleanor to England in 1926 to conduct further studies. In his observations, he had noted the bite-like marks were not only appearing, but they were also disappearing after having swollen up into wheals. One study in particular was quite noteworthy in Price's eyes. In this study, he and another associate observed Eleanor playing with a toy. Suddenly, the toy exploded into pieces and distracted all parties from seeing a whole paper knife stiletto thrown across the room. Price notes that none of them could have thrown it because they were all standing 10 feet away from the table it was located on. Regarding the wounds, there was no indication of Eleanor inflicting these on herself in any of Price's notes. The child attested that the devil was attacking her, and she was then instructed to draw a depiction of what she saw, shown here, which to me looks like some type of crossbreed of a walking, laughing cow and demonic entity. Interestingly, Price concluded that the cause of all of this was in fact more so stigmatic than demonic. He stated that it was in fact the villagers, families, and locals alike who were reinforcing the idea that there was a devil even involved, which had accessed the kid's subconscious, causing her to somehow manifest these anomalies. He insisted that if we, quote, remove the Dracu complex, the girl would probably be troubled no further, end quote. This was further supported when Eleanor's so-called demonic phenomena stopped completely around this time, by the age of 14. What do you all think about this strange case? Honestly, I'm just baffled that a single person, a child, was actually persecuted and nearly exiled because some hillbilly villagers were deflecting their own fears and paranoia on her. What I'm not understanding though is how she was able to physically move objects just based on their projections alone. On second thought, she did have a whole society going against her, so perhaps all that negative energy was enough to throw about whole items? But you guys, these skeptical side of me is asking about the legitimacy of any of this. I mean, where's the tangible evidence showing these items being thrown everywhere? Are we just supposed to believe all the verbal accounts from these researchers who could very likely just be looking for their own fame and gain? Was it all just a publicity stunt? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, because I seriously want to know if you believe this psychic medium stigma phenomena. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting content.